Hi friends, welcome to Learn with Krishna Sandeep channel. In this video, we will learn what are looping statements in Python, why do we need loops, what are the different types of loops. With help of examples we will learn in this video. So first we'll understand what are looping statements and why do we need a looping statements. So first a loop statement is a series of steps or sequence of statements executed repeatedly 0 or more times satisfying the given condition. So loop is nothing but in any programming language, if you take C, C++, Java, Python, loop is nothing but it's a statement that contains set of instructions that continuously repeats. So if you want to repeatedly execute some instructions based on a condition, we go for loops. Okay. So what benefit we get if we go to loops? It helps us to remove the redundancy of code when a task has to be repeated several times. For example, if a task has to be repeated several times, these loops helps us in removing the redundancy of the code. With the use of these loops, we can cut short 100 lines of code to very few lines. For example, take if you want to print hello world 10 times. Okay, let me go to the editor. So coming to the loops, okay, so I came to the editor now. For example, if I want to print the text hello world 10 times, how I have to do without loops? If I have to do, what I need to do, I'll do hello world, print hello world, and I'll repeat this 10 times. Okay. You see here, there is a lot of redundant code. This code is redundant. Do we really need to write this code like this? Do you see any way to improve this code? So with the help of loops, what we can do is we can eliminate this redundant code, or we can remove this redundant code when a task has to be repeated repeated several number of times. So rather than writing here print statement 10 times, we can make use of loops. Okay, by using these loops we can eliminate that redundant code. Got it? So now let's go to the different types of loops. There are three different types of loop. First one is while loop, second one is for loop, third one is nested loops. Here I just gave nested for loop, but the loop is nested loops. So these are the three different types of looping statements available in Python. First we will see what is a while loop. So while loop, it continuously executes the statement as long as the given condition is true. It first checks the condition and then jumps into the instructions. So what is happening here is in while loop. So while loop continuously executes the statements until this condition is true. So in while loop, first what we'll do, we'll check the condition. If the condition is true, the body of the while executes. Okay. Till what time it gets executed? How many number of times this body of loop will get while will get executes? Till this expression becomes false. For example, first time. Let's go to the first iteration. So first iteration, assume that the condition is true. What happens? This body of the while gets executed. Again, it goes to the condition. Again, it checks the condition. Check whether this condition is true or not. Assume that it is true. Again, this body of while is executed. So till this condition satisfies, those many number of times this body of the while will get executed. If the condition or text expression is false, this loop gets exited. Okay. So this is the syntax of the or flowchart of the while loop. Okay. How is the syntax? Just I'll explain you the syntax here. This is how the syntax. We have a keyword called while, and here we'll be giving the condition inside the braces. Okay, while condition, and it ends with colon, and here we'll be having the statements or the body of the while loop. So this is the syntax of while. So inside the while loop we can have any number of statements. So inside the while loop we can have any number of statements. For example, statement 1, statement 2, I'm just taking three statements now. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. So we have three statements here. So inside while loop, we can have any number of statements. The condition can be anything as per our requirement. The loop stops running when the condition fails. So these statements get executed till this condition is true. Once this condition is false, what happens? It comes out of this and it executes this statement. Okay. Statement 4 gets executed when the while condition is failed or when the condition is fails. And the execution comes to statement 4. This is the syntax of while loop. Okay. We'll see an example how this while works. Okay, but for the time being, I'm just explaining you how the while loop works. This is the syntax. Okay, fine. Let's take an example. For example, I want to print hello world 10 times. How I do that? Okay. Num equal to 10 while num less than or equal to 10 colon print, just say hello world. Okay, just say print hello world. Now let's run the program and see the output. Now if you see, while num is less than or num is 10, so while num is less than or equal to 10, till that time print hello world gets executed 10 times. And just say num equal to num plus 1. Just say num equal to 1. Okay. So first we are assigning num value, we are assigning value 1 to the num. Okay. So first what happens, it will check while first time 1 is less than or equal to 10. So true, yes, correct, 1 is less than 10. So it will print hello world and num value will become num equal to 1 plus 1, which will be 2. Now num will be 2. So while 2 less than or equal to 10, right, correct, print hello world. So hello world will be printed second time. Now what is the num value? Num equal to num plus 1, which is equal to 2 plus 1. Num will become 3. Okay, num will become 3. Now while 3 less than or equal to 10, is it true? Correct. And it will print hello world third time. And again it checks the condition. Num equal, again it increments the value. Num equal to num plus 1. 3 plus 1, num will become 4. Okay. So this is how till it satisfies this condition up to 10 number of times. I mean hello world will be printed 10 times. Let's run the program and see the output. So if you see here, so hello world is printed 10 times. Starting from 1, it will print 10 times. Okay, assume that I am not giving this condition. Okay, what happens? So we call this kind of loop as an infinite loop. What is an infinite loop? Let me run this program and show you. So if you see here, this is an infinite loop. I mean it keeps on running till we stop the program. It will print the hello world. Why? Because this loop is an infinite loop. Why it is an infinite loop? I'll tell you. So first what happens while 1 less than or equal to 10, true, it will print hello world. Again num will become what? 1 only. Less than or equal to 10, it will print hello world. So this will not come out of the loop. Why? Because every time this condition gets satisfied and it will always remain in this loop, and these kind of loops we call it as an infinite loop. Okay, so that is the reason here we need to give the condition saying num equal to num plus 1. Okay, to break this infinite loop. Hope you got it right. What is an infinite loop? So this is the syntax for while loop. Now let's get into another loop called for loop. So for loop. So when do we use for loop? For loop is used to iterate over sequence like list, type, dictionaries, sets. So these are different types of collections I can say in Python. If you want to iterate over a sequence like strings, list, type, dictionaries, sets, then we go for loop. Okay. So loop statements will be executed for each item of the sequence. List equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, if I have to iterate this list of values, what I'll do, I'll just say for num in list. Okay. Again, this condition will ends with colon. And finally, I'll say print hello world. Let's run the program and see the output. So it will print hello world. How many number of times? Okay, this number of times. No, for example, if I want to print the number, if I want to print all the elements in this list, how do I do that? Just say print num. So for num in list, so each time when we iterate this list, okay, this value will be stored in this num. Okay, first one will be stored in num and then it gets incremented, and first one will be stored in this num. Okay, and then it will print 1, and 2 will be stored in this num and it will print num. Let's run the program and see the output. You see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got printed, right? If I want to print 10, 20, I'm just giving in a different order just for the understanding purpose. 40, 50. So this is how 10, 30, 20, 40, 50. Run loop demo. Now it should print 10, 30, 20, 40, 50. Okay. We want to print all the elements in a sequence like list, type, dictionaries, sets. Okay. Then we go for loop. So loop statements will be executed for each item of this sequence. Okay. For each item of the sequence, then this will be printed. Now go to the syntax. Let's go to the syntax. Now if you see here, first what we'll be having here, initialization will be there in for loop, and then it goes to the condition, and if the condition is satisfied or it is true, then it will increment, and again the condition is checked. If it is true, again it gets incremented. If the condition is false, this gets ended. Got it? So this is the for loop, and we have seen the example as well for this for loop. Now the third one is nested loops. What are nested loops? So nested loops are nothing but using a loop inside another loop. For example, if you see here, there are two for loops. First for loop, second for loop. Okay. For inside one for loop, we have another for loop. We can use any type of loop inside any type of loop. We can use this while loop inside for loop. We can use this for loop inside while loop. We can use for loop inside for loop. We can use while loop inside while loop. Okay. So these are the three different types of loops. While loop, and then second one is for loop, and the third one is nested loops. These are the three different types of loops. We have seen examples for while loop and the second one for loop. Now we'll see the example for nested loop. Okay, I'll just take one example where I'll take for loop, and inside for loop I'll add while loop. Okay. So now I'll write a program. So the program is nothing but printing list of numbers between 1 and 10. Okay. If I want to print the list of numbers between 1 and 10, how do I do that? So I'll just say for num in range 1, 11. So I'll explain you what is this. So between 1 to 10, what I need to do? I need to print even numbers. So for that, I have a function called range. If I give the starting and ending, so this range function, what it will do, we can iterate by using for with the help of this range for each and every item in this. Okay. And inside this for loop, so now what we, for the first time, what we'll have? 1. Num value will be 1. So now what I'll do, while num percentile 2 equal to 0, print is an even number dot format num. Got it? Now let's run the program and see the output. I'll explain you in detail. Okay, here I need to give colon, 2 times colon, because each and every condition ends with colon in Python. So I gave that. Now let's run the program. Indentation error. Why? Because so this statement will be executed only after executing this statement. Okay. Now let's run the program and see the output. Now if you see, every time it is printing only 2. Why? Because it is in infinite loop. Here there is no condition. So let me add the condition here. So here we need to add condition num equal to num plus 1. Okay. Now let's run the program and see the output. So first what happens, it will start the iteration, or it will start the for loop with 1. So 1 percentile 2 equal to 0, no, false. Why? Because so the remainder will be 1. So 1 is not an even number. Again it goes to 2. 2 percentile 2 equal to 0, true. It will print 2 is an even number. Again num value gets incremented. What is the num value here? 3. So 3 percentile 2 equal to 0, no. 3 percentile 2 is 1, remainder is 1. So it will not print this statement. Okay, again this goes to while. Okay, it will execute this, it will just increment this. Now let's run the program and see the output. You see here, 2 is an even number, 4 is an even number, 6 is an even number, 8 is an even number, and 10 is an even number. So this statement gets executed only when this condition is true, but this will get executed every time. Okay, this will executed every time. Hope you understand this, right? So these are the, now we use this while loop inside for loop. This concept is called nested loops. So hope you have understood what is a while loop, what is a for loop, and what are nested loops with help of an example. Thanks for watching my video. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.